Cool. Yay. It has been a minute. I can't believe it started like right at 1 o'clock. I didn't even plan that. Ooh, I should probably tell my people that we are on. So let's start with this because it's the easiest. Hello, if anybody's here. Hello. Oh, nobody's here. Okay, it's just me. Never mind. I just said never mind to myself. All right, let's see. Who are we sending this to? My wonderful supporters from my tarot business, of course. And then I should also probably let my patrons know and share the link with them. Anybody here yet? Nope, not yet. So if somebody comes in when I'm not looking, go ahead and say hello in the chat so that I can greet you once I am looking. But for right now, it's just me. Let's see, what else do I want to send? Ah, yes, Patreon. I should have some music going in the background, but I don't. Let's see, link. Let's see if this link works actually. Does it? It does. Yay. Okay, good. Oh gosh, what an ugly ponytail. Haha. That's so funny. All right, let's see. Gonna do some conversing, or as they used to say in the 90s, conversating about the full moon tonight. Sending this to my patrons so they can know. All right, we have one person here. Hello, whomever you are, say hi in the chat so I can greet you. You know what? Since nobody's here yet, because I just realized that one person is probably me on this computer over here. What? Oh no, it's not, because the person left. Okay, goodbye. They were turned off by my energy. Let's find out. You know what I can do while we're waiting is I can build a little something for you. Ah, yes, here we go. Oh, hello. We have 3 people. Hi, y'all. Why do I have a feeling that the 3 people that are out there right now are named Rita and Mel? And if I were to guess, Inesha? If you, oh, you're not. Somebody named Judgment Kazi. Hello, Judgment Kazi. You know what I'm going to do, Judgment Kazi? I'm actually going to pull up the chat on my other device so that I can see any and everybody who shows up much more clearly and speak to you directly and give you the respect you deserve for being here. Hi, Judgment Kazi. Welcome. Hello, everybody who is here. Thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. My name is Shon. The channel is shon.vibes. I'm guessing that many of you are new, and I'm so excited to have you here. Some of you may also be members of my Patreon community, so of course I welcome you as always. Hi, Kaz. How are you? I wonder if I can reply to you on this. Can I reply to you in real time? Probably not. I've never tried that with a live before. So today we are going to be talking about 7 things that I personally am letting go of during tonight's full moon, because the full moon is a perfect time to release things, right? It's the energy that is so big, so expansive because of everything that we've already put into the universe, intentions we have already done in our lives over the past 2 weeks since the most recent new moon that have built and built. They've gained more and more and more and more momentum, right? And so now the moon is like big like this, and the energy of whatever we've already been creating or whatever we've already done is like ready to burst. If you like tarot, if you watch tarot, if you read tarot, you know about the 10, the number 10 in tarot, for instance, like the 10 of Wands, which is like the fullness of a thing to the point where it can get to be too much. And so one of the things that we sometimes forget to do, because we get so excited about the fact that the full moon is so beautiful, it's so lovely to look at, it feels naturally very, very magical, that sometimes we forget to let go of stuff. Or like for me personally, I get so excited about starting things, creating things, building things, that I sometimes don't remember to let go of things I no longer need. And so tonight's full moon, which is a harvest moon, ironically, is a perfect time to let go. And I say ironically because, as you know, when we harvest, usually we're taking things in, we're gathering, right? So before we get started, if you are new to me or new to my channel, please be sure to say hi so that I can welcome you. If you like what you see, what you feel, most importantly, if you like what you feel coming from me energetically, vibrationally, please, hello, hi, what does that say? Verse girl, I like how you spell that. That's fun. Yeah, if you like what you see, if you like what you feel, please be sure to like the video because it does indeed help YouTube know that, hey, people are digging what Shon is putting down and we need to let them know what she's doing. Now I have some things I want to tell y'all about this moon. Okay, first of all, raise your hand, metaphorically speaking, or you can type it here in the chat if you have a habit of doing moon magic. Like, is that a thing for you? Or did you see the title of this video and think, oh, that's interesting, that's new? Like, what is your experience so far with using the moon's energies and the moon cycle to create the life that you want for yourself? Is this something that you do all the time? Is this something that you do sporadically, like when you remember? For instance, I want to remind y'all before we start anything else, I want to remind you to set out your water tonight to create moon water. This is something that I always forget. I never, ever, I rarely, okay, never is some extreme, but I rarely remember to set out my water ahead of time to create moon water. If you are someone who's not familiar with moon water, it is a potion. It's one of the simplest potions that you can make to have more magic, not just in your life, but in your actual being, in your actual body. Now, moon water should typically be made with spring water that is in a glass bottle. You don't want the, what's it called, contaminations? That's not the right word. What's the word I'm looking for, you guys, that comes from plastic? Like when we drink out of plastic containers, it can put blah, blah, blahs in our water. I can't think of the word right now. But spring water is what you ideally want to get from your supermarket, right? Or your health food store. And glass container is what you want it to be in so that it can have as much purity to it as possible. And then to create your very magical moon water, you just set it right in a windowsill. Like, I don't know if y'all can see the natural light that I've got going on here, but I've got this huge bay window that I'm, they call it a bay window, but it's like this big. Anyway, that is right here. And I oftentimes, when I remember to do it, I will set my containers of water right here on the sill of my bay window. If you really, really, really have a nice environment where you live, maybe your own yard where it's safe to do so, put it in your backyard. When I was staying with my mom, which was recently, I had moved from Los Angeles to Charlotte and I stayed with my mom for a little bit. And during that time, she's got this yard. She's got the privacy of a yard as opposed to living in apartments like I usually do. And so I put my water out there for the moonlight to directly activate that water. So I just wanted to remind you of that before we get started talking about ways and reasons to let go during tonight's harvest moon. Let's start with some hellos. Let's see. So we have Judgment Kazi is here and Universe Girl is here. I see that there are more of you, but you haven't said hi yet. So if you feel comfortable doing so, if you want to let me know that you're here, please type your name in the chat, or type, not your name will show up, but just say hey in the chat so I can greet you. I have here, you will see my phone. It's got two things on it for me that I need as we were talking today. One, it's got notes of things that I want to make sure I don't forget to talk to you about because as we get older, our memory goes. And then also it's got an opportunity for me to see you guys in the chat more clearly and make it easy for me so I'm not doing like this the whole time, like squinting at you. I can take a look and see what you have written and respond to you in real time. So with that being said, I have a question for you. Are there any astrologers on the chat with us right now? I don't consider myself one. If you've watched my tarot videos, you've heard me say this often. I myself am not an astrologer, though I do find astrology very, very fascinating and also very, very useful for life. Is there anybody here that identifies as an astrologer? And if so, do you have any particular insights into this harvest moon? that you want to share with us, please be sure to do so. So the moons, the full moons all have a name. I think there are 13, yes, there are 13 full moons throughout the year, right? Starting, of course, in January. I can't remember which month it is that has two. Which one is it? Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head which one has two. But this month's moon is known as the harvest moon in some Native American traditions or indigenous people traditions. And it is known as the hunter moon in others. And one of the reasons why it is called, it's the same reason why it's called those two different things in both of these traditions. It's because of how big, how bright, and how close to the earth that particular moon is. It's October, right? And so the position of the earth determines how much moonlight we get. And it's so big that it makes it easy to hunt at night if you are hunting creatures that usually only come out at night. It also makes it easy to harvest your vegetables or fruits, I guess, also, right? So with this being the harvest moon, this is a great time for you to collect things sometimes, but because it's a full moon, it is also a great opportunity to release certain things. And I'm just very interested if anybody else has any ideas, concepts, insights around what's going on astrologically right now, even beyond these moons. Now, as I said a second ago, I myself am not an astrologer, but I do have some astrology channels that I absolutely love here on YouTube. And I'm going to give you some of those as some suggestions in case you're ever looking for that for yourself, right? For those of you who aren't astrologers like me, and we'll cover that in just a little bit. But first, let me tell you one of the things that I am going to be letting go of during this new moon. Hello, Miss Mel. Welcome. I'm so glad you're live again. Well, I'm very glad to be live again too. And I probably sound a little manic because I'm so excited. I'm just like, ah! But you know, that's how Shon rolls. Energy vampires, y'all. I cannot take an energy vampire, okay? First of all, I just got this wording recently. I think I knew about this concept maybe in my 20s, possibly in my 30s. I don't remember which, right? But when I first became aware of the concept of energy vampires, I didn't pay it a lot of attention because I think I instinctively knew at the time that I was one of those energy vampires. I was one of those people in my 20s that was constantly taking, needy, 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 gimme, 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 look at me, look at me, look at me. I mean, that probably has a lot to do with why I ended up making the 30-year career as an actor, right? The attention part of it. Plus, I was really good at what I did. But anyway, so energy vampires. Recently, this year, like within the past 3 months, this phrase came to my attention again. I think I was watching a video by Sonia Choquette, who is a wonderful spiritual teacher here on YouTube. And who else? Or who else? I don't remember who the other two channels were, but 3 different channels that I follow all mentioned energy vampire in content that I was watching on the same day, within the same 24 hours. And what was very interesting about it too, and I knew that the universe was giving me a very specific message that I needed to be aware of that kind of energy in my life, was that one of those videos was several years old. It wasn't a new upload by that creator. So, you know, sometimes we'll see the same thing coming up over and over again because it's trending or YouTube has suggested it to its creators on in YouTube Studio, which is, if you don't have your own channel, it's a app that we have for those of us who are creators. And so it was very interesting to me that one of the 3 videos that I watched within a 24-hour time frame all talked about people sucking your energy. I think only one of them actually used the term energy vampire, and that was Sonia Choquette, because she is in this woo-woo space with us. And so that's the wording that she used. But like one of them, I think, was one of the psychology channels that I like to follow. But at the end of the day, what I got from it was, oh shit, I have those in my life. I have a lot of those in my life, and I want them out. The thing about energy vampires, you guys, is sometimes you don't even notice what they're doing. You don't even notice that they are draining you. Some of them come off as though they're giving to you, but they're really not. So some great examples of that would be like a narcissistic parent. Y'all know how I feel about narcissistic parents. Like, especially if you're like a member of my Patreon, you hear me talk about narcissism and parenting all the time. Okay. So if it's a narcissistic parent, if it is, it could be somebody who's like a close friend. It could be somebody at your work. Ooh, y'all. Somebody at your job who's constantly coming at you with compliments. You do such and such so well. Da, 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 and the next thing you know, you're doing that person's work too. Have you had that happen? Okay. So energy vampire is 100% in energy I am not available for anymore. I started letting go of certain energy vampires in my life when I first had this reminder given to me by the universe a few weeks ago. But I don't know that I didn't do anything ritualistic around it, and I don't know that I specifically claimed it as an intention at the time. Oh, except maybe with one person where I did an actual cord cutting. And I highly recommend that. For any of these things that you choose to let go of, cut the cord, cut the energetic cord to really help you own that, right? Or disown that, really. But yeah, so these could be people, like I said, that are friends of yours, that are family members of yours, your significant other or partner. This is a trap that women fall into a lot. Now, I'm not saying that men can't fall into this trap. I just know I hear this kind of thing from women often without having this wording around it. They're tired. They're exhausted. I do so much. I have to do everything. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's the thing though. Some tough love coming. Do you have to do everything? Or are you used to doing everything? And sometimes we're used to doing everything because we have people around us that are doing fucking nothing. And so for a thing to get done, we have to step in and do it, or we choose to. We could also let it not get done and let that person learn a lesson. And that is something I am a big advocate for. So in letting go of energy vampires, it is very, very possible that you just change how you interact with someone. It doesn't have to be that you cut that person out of your life unless you absolutely want to. I personally like letting go of people. I have been heard to say I enjoy firing people. Firing people is one of my favorite things to do. When I used to be in management capacities for arts organizations, or I haven't had the opportunity to do it much in my own business, but as a producer, I absolutely have. And I love firing people. I do. And I don't give a shit about them when I do it. And you know why? Because if we have gotten to the point where I have to fire you, it is time for your ass to go. You have done enough or not done enough so that you are not aligned with what it is I'm trying to create, right? So find the people that you can let go of that are sucking your energy, whether they are knowledgeably doing it. Is that the word? Is that even a word? Knowledgeably? Knowingly. Whether they are knowingly doing it or not, doesn't matter. And be careful of anybody you feel need to make an excuse for. Okay. Now, the exception to this, of course, would be children. If you have your own children, you have no choice but to take care of them. But you can have some guardrails around how you do it. You can exercise balance on what it means for you to be a parent to these children, particularly if they happen to be adult children. All right, let's see who else is joining us, because we had some more people who showed up. Silver Wolf, Shadow Wolf, hello. And you say, got it. I bet you know something about moons. I just have a feeling, and I get it. I realize what I just did. I just made an assumption based on your username, but I don't know. It just feels to me like you probably know something about moons, and that you possibly have some full moon rituals that you can share with us. Please do. Anybody who has something that they are used to doing or have been wanting to do, interested in doing as part of moon ritual, moon magic, please share it in the comments so that we can all piggyback off of your wisdom or your insight or your creativity, your imagination, because you may have something in mind that I've never thought of or don't even know about. And so I can't share it with the people here, but you possibly could. Hello, Rita. Welcome. Hello. It says, hi, dear Sean. My intention is to let go of codependency, yes, and addictive behaviors and all that doesn't serve. Okay, so that's a lot, Rita. That's a lot in one sentence. But what's very interesting about it is they're all interconnected, right? So one of the things that I want to throw out there for my empaths, and this was inspired by Ray's comment, so thank you for commenting, darling, because it does help me to share with you guys, is, oh, I forgot it. Hold on. Y'all know I do this. It's all the parenthetical statements. What was I going to say? Talked about Rita's things, how they're all interconnected. Hi there, Sean. My intention is to let go of codependency and addictive behaviors and all that doesn't serve me. And I said they're all, okay, y'all know it's going to come back to me later and I'll say it then. What was it? I don't know. Anybody else have intentions that they want to let go of? For me, again, here's an energy vampire that I hadn't thought of to share with you guys. Rage bait content. This is when creators deliberately say or do something in their content to get a negative reaction from you because they want to get the engagement. So they'll say something possibly that they know is wrong, or that they know is unpopular, that they know is illegal even, that is deliberately offensive, particularly about certain genders or ethnic groups. They will put that in their content on purpose to trigger people. And that word trigger is getting used a lot lately in incorrect ways. It's getting used a lot to just mean to make people angry, but it's more than just that. It's when it evokes a visceral reaction from you on an emotional level. So maybe let go of that. You know, if that's something that you tend to feel victim to, that is in energy vampirism at its core, because they are using your energy to prop up their content. Okay. All right, the second thing that I am letting go of at this time is other people's emotions. Yes, that reminds me of what I was going to say a second ago. Okay, so yes, thank you, Rita, for what you said about the codependency and other people and blah, 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 blah. For those of you who identify as empath, which I know is a lot of a lot of you in this particular space, just because you are aware of someone else's feelings doesn't mean you have to do something about that person's feelings. And this is a trap that a lot of us fall into, right? So for me personally, I started to realize, and I think one of the reasons why I'm having so many of these realizations lately is because I have gone back to teaching full time. And a big part of teaching, particularly the kind of teaching I do, because I teach adults as well as children. And a big part of teaching people, at least the approach that I take, is empowering people. Same as what I do with the content. I empower people quite naturally. It's just the way I'm built, right? But because I'm currently now teaching adults and children, I'm starting to be aware of when I am doing it a lot. And because I'm doing it so much in the work I get paid for, I am much more aware of my doing it in things that are not giving me compensation. And it became a big fucking no, right? When I am empowering somebody so much or trying to, and they're not changing. Or I'm empowering somebody so much and it's like, wait a minute, you're not a fucking teenager, you're an adult. You're 5 years younger than me. That makes you middle-aged. Things like that, right? And I realized that part of why I was doing it is because I have clear cognizance. That's one of my gifts, one of my magical gifts. I know things without knowing why I know them. It's been that way since I'm yay high. Yay high, can you see that? Can't see that. Yay high. And I recently saw a post in one of the magical groups I follow on Facebook that was talking about the difference between being an empath and having clear cognizance that ends up being applied to the reading of other people's emotions. And I went like, y'all know that emoji that's got that was me that day. Because I never, ever, ever identified as empath. I would hear people talking about empaths, empath this, empath that, empathy this. Well, I do have empathy, but empaths, and it just never seemed to relate to me. It didn't seem like that's my experience. They would talk about feeling other people's emotions and sometimes being debilitated by feeling other people's emotions. I don't have that. I don't have that. Your shit is your shit. That ain't my shit. I got enough to carry on my own. I cannot carry your shit. But what I was doing was trying to make you see what I see, trying to make you understand hard-earned knowledge that I have gotten over my 50 years of life. And I realized I can't do that. And then I realized this is one of the traps for empaths. Because we feel, sorry, not an empath, but because those who identify as empaths feel other people's feelings, or in the case of someone like me who's clear cognizant, you can see, you know what other people are feeling so clearly. The natural fixer in many of us, whether that you identify as empath or not, tries to fix that problem for them. And it may not be yours to fix. And I guarantee you, you can't fix it because people have to tweak themselves to make their lives be different. So we have choices. We can decide to share with them what we see, or we can decide to just see it and not say anything and just let that be theirs. Because the universe, their God or goddess, their angels, their life, their higher self can be in charge of their own growth pattern, right? We don't have to be in charge of that. So yeah, the second thing that I have deliberately decided to let go of is other people's emotions. Now, everything I just said makes it sound like I'm only talking about negative emotions. This is also true for positive emotions. Say someone comes to me and they tell me I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread and chocolate milk put together, plus a side of shrimp. I don't know what this meal is. I really don't. I don't. But anyway, and they gas me up with all these beautiful compliments, right? And I own it. I eat it. I take it in as though it's true. But then I next time I see that person, they barely make eye contact with me at all, or they look at me and snigger and say something to somebody else or something like that. And now all of a sudden, I have a different perception of this person's perception of me, all because I chose to hold on to their compliment earlier. So, in general, other people's emotions, perceptions, letting it go. Their emotions, they're happy, they're happy. Yay, good for them. I'm happy for them that they're happy, but I don't have to be happy because they're happy if I'm in a really bad mood. Have you done that? Have you done that? Like you're having something go on in your life that is possibly overwhelming, painful, whatever the thing is. And you come across someone who they're having a great day, they're having a wonderful time. And you feel like it's wrong of you to rain on their parade, shit on their day, whatever. And so you try to manufacture happiness for the sake of their happiness, stuff like that. You don't need to hold on to other people's emotions. They're not for you. Okay, what do you say here? I see I got some more from Mel. Hold on, I'll do it. Which one is easier? I guess this is easier. Mel, those are the people I just stopped reading their posts. Not worth my energy, girl. Yes. And then you say, I am trying not to be everyone's fixer. Yes. And, I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do because this is what I do. But the easiest way to stop being everyone's fixer is to understand that you are nobody's fixer. Nobody's. It's not in your job description to heal other people. A lot of people think of themselves as healers because that language is out there in the world, particularly in the woo-woo social media. But we actually can't heal other people. We can share information with them. We can be a space for them to talk to about whatever they're going through. But the actual course of healing, that's their own task. That's theirs to do. Okay. Hey, listen, if you have joined me late, please be sure to like this so YouTube knows to let people know that this is good stuff. And also, what did I want to say? If you have been here and you haven't said hi so that I can greet you, please make sure that you do. I would love to. As we move on to number 3, all right? So the third thing that I am letting go of is, okay, so this one is a split one. The first half of this is not something that I have to let go of, but I want to put it out here in case it's something that you are struggling with, and it's too much technology. Do you spend too much time on social media or watching TV or any of the technological things that are required? Because it's required for most of our jobs. So we do it in our personal lives and our jobs, and that can be overwhelming. And then for me in particular, it's stuff in my cloud and on my hard drives. There are so many files that I need to go ahead and get rid of, things that can be deleted. So that is a very, very, very simple one that I am going to be letting go of, right? And I say simple, but it's not really, because it is time consuming. It does take a while. In fact, I've been working on cleaning out my OneDrive for several months. Because I pay for, like, OneDrive comes with a terabyte of storage, and I am so over that I had to buy additional storage, and I pay for additional storage each month. So, it's costing me money. And you know, guys, I forgot to mention too, I was just looking at my notes here. I forgot to mention too, whatever your intention is, things that you let go of, if you don't have ideas already, that's okay. You can let what I'm saying spark ideas for you, be inspiration for you, possibly things that other people are typing here in the chat. It can be something that's spiritual that you're letting go of, maybe beliefs about a mean or judging deity, or beliefs about what happens to people when they die or what doesn't happen to people when they die. So it could be spiritual ways that you have to behave spiritually in order to be a good person. You know, it could be financial. It could be something like letting go of bill stress, like the stress about bills, or it could be letting go of overspending. That's a big one for some people, even with our economy so-called being bad right now. I don't personally believe in a bad economy. I believe that different people are having different experiences based on what their situation is and what they are paying attention to. Um, Now, if you're out of work, you might 100% be having a bad economy. But anyway, and then it can also be something that's social. And that brings us to the things that we've already been talking about, like energy vampires, like other people's emotions. Okay. The fourth thing that I am letting go of, jobs I don't want, things that I just don't want to do anymore. Now, that might feel or seem very pie in the sky. It might seem very privileged or entitled. It might seem unrealistic. But is it? Like, if you stay connected to a source of income that you don't like, don't enjoy, possibly doesn't pay you enough money, whatever the thing is that makes it not an aligned fit for you, it has such a negative effect on your energy that it affects the rest of your life. And then it keeps you from making as much as you possibly could make. And so when we find ourselves holding on to a source of income because we're afraid of not having that income anymore, what we don't understand sometimes is that we're keeping ourselves from getting even more money, because staying in something that doesn't fit you drains your energy, lowers your vibration, makes you snippy, keeps you from seeing the possibilities of what is out there in the world for you, right? And so for me personally, I have so many sources of income. And it's some of it is habit because I've been a professional artist for so long. So I'm used to thinking in terms of having to put many things together to create a financial life. And then some of it is literally the requirement for being able to afford life, you know. But what I've recently realized that I have to account for is when I grow and change, and when something that had been possibly okay for me to do financially, to make money, isn't really a fit for me anymore. And so if it's one of my client-based services, right? Am I doing the client any good if I have resistance to offering that service anymore? Or if it's an employer that I have, because I have one source of income that's contract work, so I'm technically self-employed there, but it's for somebody else's business. And then I have a source of income where I'm actually an employer as a dance teacher and choreographer. Okay. The first one is also dance teacher and choreographer, both of those. Then I have my two businesses, one where I offer tarot readings, as many of you know. And I also am now selling my digital courses as well through my same online shop. So that's shon.vibes.com, or my Etsy shop, which is goodwitchworkshop.etsy.com. And then I recently started offering private voice lessons. And because of a series of different factors that kept changing, the nature of how I offer that, the private voice lessons, which again is my own business. So two businesses, two things where I work for other people. It stopped feeling aligned for me. It stopped being right for me. And so it became important for me to acknowledge that while it was wonderful at a certain time, maybe it's not so wonderful anymore. Okay. So I want to give you permission to think like that. You can let go of jobs, and it doesn't mean that you're going to have to be out of work. It just starts with thinking, I can let go of this. I can release this. Or what if you picked a career field when you were 18, 17, 18 years old and you didn't know anything about life yet, let alone that field? And the next thing you know, you got 20, 30 years in it and you're not happy. You know, I did 30 years as a professional actor and finally recently was like, I cannot do this anymore. And I knew it mentally and emotionally for several months before I was ready to say it out loud to other people. And then when I was ready to say it out loud to other people that weren't in my family, I shared it with my Facebook friends and family, most of whom are people that I know from my acting life. And so that was a thing. All right. Let me see if there anything else. No, you guys are still hanging tight. Thank you for being here with me. Number 5, responsibilities that aren't mine. What are you doing for somebody else that they should be doing for themselves? This is a habit that I have or had, because I'm claiming that I'm not doing that ish no more. And it was my habit because of a couple of things. One, I'm super fucking capable. And so it's my nature to just do stuff. Whereas the person around me whose responsibility it's probably, they might be a procrastinator by nature and they just haven't gotten around to doing it yet, or they're not doing it in the time frame that I needed or wanted to be done, right? And then the other reason is because I'm firstborn. Do you have a habit of looking at your position in the family that you grew up with and seeing how that is influencing what you do and how you do it? That's a big thing. So responsibilities that aren't mine. If someone speaks about an issue, I'm gonna give a great example. Hold on, let me see if I can remember this properly. Okay, so my sister and I were talking once. There was something I was supposed to do with my mom, and it wasn't something that was huge or obligatory, but it was just, I was going to go to something with her or whatever. And something changed in my availability to do it. I can't remember what it was, or it could be that I just decided I don't want to do that. I'm not doing it. And so I let her know that. But what I didn't feel comfortable with was leaving her in the lurch. So I sought out to find a replacement date for her for that event. And as I was talking to one of my sisters about it, my sister Christina, she said, yeah, I find it very interesting that you felt that you needed to find her someone to go with because she's an adult. She could just call up other people. And it had not crossed my mind. And one of the reasons why I hadn't even considered that I didn't have to fix that for her, that I did not have to find her someone else to hang with on that day, is because a lot of my upbringing was, and also in particular with this particular parent, making sure they felt okay, making sure their needs were met. And so I took that as my responsibility when it was not. Do you have that habit too? I can tell you now, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I don't like it. I don't love it. I hate it. I hate it. All right, let's see. What did Rita say here? She said, I did a protection spell. It helped me a lot. I wrote in a piece of paper, a circle, and inside what I want protected. I love that. I put it on the bottom of a bowl and salt on the top, and I left it close to a window. I love that. Magic, magic, magic. Thank you for sharing that. Essentially, it's a spell or a ritual. Some people would consider that a ritual. I love that, Rita. Thank you for sharing it. And you said, yes, it's a lot, LOL. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it's something that I said earlier, but I don't know. So, and then you say, interesting. I assume you mean the story that I just shared about my mom? Yes. Yes, I felt that I had to find her someone else to hang out with, as though she wasn't 70 years old with a ton of friends. My mother's an extrovert. She is not hurting for people to spend time with. But somehow for me, being her date for that event became a job. We can delve into that another day. And then Mel, you say yes. So I know that you're talking about the story I just shared. Okay. Listen, I said earlier that I was going to share with you guys some astrologers that I really like. We'll get back to my list of things I'm going to be letting go of soon. But I did promise to share with you guys some astrologers that ooh, that's my left hand. Ooh, money. Anyway, I want to share with you astrologers that I like that are here on YouTube, because as I say, all the time. Not an astrologer, love astrology, want to learn more about it. In fact, part of the Learn With Me series that I recently started, we are going to be delving into astrological things also, though right now our focus is on the goddesses. If you have not already seen it, I have a free version of my Hecate mini course here on the channel. It is not as deep a dive as the one that's available for those of you who are members of my Patreon, or now also available in my shops. I have my Etsy shop as well as shon.vibes where you can get that. It is a mini course, so it is priced in a mini way at $6.66 in, of course, honor of Hecate being one of our shadow goddesses. But again, if you're already a member of my Violet Flame level of Patreon, boom, you have access to that, and anything else I create, you have access to all of the things. So question list. Here are the people. Number 1, Miss Bailey Varnell. I absolutely love Bailey Varnell. She is beautiful. She is clear in her explanation of things. She covers more than just like moon phases and the basic astrology, like your sun, moon, rising that we often talk about. She goes deep into the chart, and with every single one of her videos, she has timestamps for your placement of the topic that she is covering on that day. So it could be your midheaven, it could be your Venus, it could be like all of the things. Again, I can't speak intelligently on all of them because I still have so much to learn, but I do highly recommend her channel. Please go and check her out. And then after you listen to some of her stuff or watch some of her stuff, follow her. She's amazing. And what was I going to say about that? Oh, yes, her style. So hers is not so off the cuff as I am, with my tarot readings. I'm very, very off the cuff. I just really love speaking in such a way. She does prepare the material, which given what she's covering is probably very, very important, right? She has written out in detail what she's covering. So she does an introduction where you can see her on camera, and then she has some slides that come up in the video itself as she reads what she has pre-written, okay? The second channel that I like for astrology stuff here on YouTube is the Astrology Guy. I don't watch his stuff near as much because he just covers the basic stuff. He's one of those people that I think his channel probably started before this kind of thing blew up on YouTube. So there's a lot of subscribers, and he gets a ton of engagement, but he's kind of boring, only because he is reading from a teleprompter. And as someone who has made her living reading from teleprompters, I am very aware. I can hear when it's happening, and therefore I can also hear when it's not happening well. And it's very clear that he is reading from a teleprompter. So for me, his communication style isn't the best. However, he's probably super popular because he seems as though he is a straight guy functioning in a primarily feminine space. So a lot of girls are probably there to look at him. And he seems like a nice guy. He's got a boy next door kind of vibe. But he covers all the major things that happen with the moon, like the new moon, the full moon, and then of course goes by your astrological sign to give you details about how you're going to be affected by what's happening in the skies at that time. All right. And then the third channel that I like is a tarot channel. And I know that you guys know this person because I interviewed her early. Oh gosh, that's been 2 years ago now. 3 years ago now. So when I did the conversation series about life path, life purpose, and destiny, and there was the interview I did with Alyssa LaRose of Celtic Fairy Tarot, as well as one with Odessa Mall, Mystic Intuitive Healer, and then Jenny Florence of Moon Magic Weekly Tarot. And as you can tell by the name of her channel, she's the person that I'm talking about. So Jenny covers moon energies and things to be aware of in relation to the moon at least once a month. I know she does a full moon course on her, not full moon, but a full course about the moon on her Patreon. And I think her Patreon is, I don't remember how much it is. I used to belong to it. I don't anymore because I didn't personally see enough of a difference between what she was offering for free online on YouTube from what was the paid content. So that's why I canceled that. But if you want to know more about moon workings, she does have that, like I said, at least once a month for free here on YouTube. All right. So again, her name is Jenny Florence and her channel is Moon Magic Weekly Tarot. Oh, Mel, thank you for giving Rita kudos. Mel loves Rita's idea. And Rita says, it happens to me sometimes. I take longer to change. A lot of what you taught me in my readings the last few months, I took in until now. I think you're probably saying I didn't take it until now, but that makes sense because learning is progress and progress takes time, you know? And you say, like, not needing to understand. Girl, you don't have to understand nobody else. You really don't. Also, other people don't have to understand you. This is a very important thing for us to get. Particularly if you were a scapegoat in a narcissistic family. You might have a need to over-explain yourself, right? You don't have to explain yourself to anybody ever. Unless you're like in court with like a judge and shit. And then you said, no more people pleasing for me, LOL. I hope that's true. I really do hope that's true for you. But you are a Libra. So good luck. All right. And then you also said, absolutely, that's been hard for me to accept, but I've accepted that I'm here to deliver a message of hope and people decide what to do with that per their free will. You know, I also had a similar insight in one of my classes recently because there was this young lady, it was a ballet class, and every correction I gave her or insight I gave her, everything, she would argue for her limitations instead of trying to make the adjustment. Now, that is not the norm for people who are learning from me in any capacity, whether it's through tarot or talks here online, or it's my other dance classes. But this girl who's got such a beautiful energy, she's very bright. I call her, like, she's like, do you guys know that vocal warm up? Good morning, world. How are you? I'm fine. I've come to shine. Do you know that? Well, that is how I see her as an energy, right? And but she's not used to being corrected because her charisma carries her a lot in the classroom. And she's also not hard to look at all. And so what's happening is people aren't helping her to grow. And it got to the point in the class where I said, listen, I'm going to give you the stuff. You can take it or not. It's up to you. But it's going to make you stronger if you can take these adjustments and apply them, you know? And then it hit me that night when I got home, because I never think this, since I am very naturally communicative. I do have the clear cognizance. I also am quite wise from having lived a long time and had a very hard life in the beginning with some very fucking awful people. People aren't required to grow. I show up, I share what I have to share, and they can improve if they would like to. This is even in skills-based things like a ballet class or any other dance class. Or they can stay not good at what they do. And I don't have to care at all. So Mel, you said, okay, hold on. Mel says, you know how it over-explain. Hold on. Over-explain entirely too well. Oh, I know you over-explain entirely too well. Girl, listen. Sometimes it takes me a while to respond to you because I have to wait until I have time to read your whole message. I'll see that I have an email from you, Mel, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me come back and look at this later when I can sit down with like my little tea in my bed and read the whole book and then put my little tea down and respond. Yes, but that's okay. That's okay. I find you a joy to connect with, so it's all right. And then Rita, you say, yeah. Rita, yes, I let go of overspending. You think you did? Okay, I'm not gonna put your business out there, but did you though? Letting go of overspending, that's more realistic in one go. LOL. Hey, listen, I'm rooting for you. You know I'm rooting for you. I'm always rooting for you guys. All right, let's get back to the list of things that I am letting go of. Fake friends. You got fake friends? Do you? Do you? So, yeah. You can oftentimes tell who they are because they're the person who takes forever. Oh God, this is gonna sound like I'm telling on myself because of what I just said to Mel, but this is a different thing. But they're the person that you text and then you don't hear back from them for several days. That's different. That's like, I'm talking about people who are in your personal life that are your friends' friends, like people you should be able to count on, especially people who you have been there for. And yet, or you sense when you're in a group dynamic with them that other people know something that you shared with them. Sorry, other people know something that you shared with the fake friend, that even if you didn't say to them, hey, don't tell anybody this, they still shouldn't be putting your business out there, right? So fake friends, people who you have an expectation of closeness with, intimacy with, realness with, but they're not living up to their side of it. I can't do fake friends. And these fake friends don't have to just be in like your social life. They can be in your fucking family. All right? So just be aware of the people. Again, it's anybody that you feel that you should be able to count on, but when it comes down to it, they are not there for you, though you are constantly there for them. And there are other ways people can be fake friends as well, but that's the one that comes to mind for me. Do you have a fake friend? You want to name drop them here? I guarantee you they don't watch my content because I'm way too real for fake people. So if you want to call them out and do a little, is there a scissors emoji? Cut the cord. In fact, anything that you feel that you want to let go of that has come up for you during this conversation today, type that thing in the comments, but do a scissor emoji first so I can see it, because I want to see what you guys are letting go of. Do a scissor emoji first, and then the thing that you're letting go of. Go ahead and start cutting that energetic cord. For sure. You're going to buy my courses. Rita, you don't have to buy my courses, sweetheart, because you get them as part of your Violet Flame membership. So the courses that I have been creating so far and what I have an intention to continue creating at this time, they are free for Violet Flame members. And then people who are not members of Violet Flame can buy them if they want access to that same content without having the benefit of the monthly membership, which comes with a ton of other things besides just these courses. So you already have access to it, Rita. You don't have to buy it. Didn't you just talk about how you're going to stop overspending? And then I'll call you out on it. And now you know why. I know you. You buy everything. Stop. Okay. So finally, number 7. Hold on. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to ask you guys before. Did I talk to you guys about moon rituals and ask you to share your moon rituals here? If I didn't, I meant to. So please do not hesitate, because we are coming up on an hour and I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm not going to stay past an hour. But are there any moon rituals that you do or would like to start doing that you can share with us here in the comments? So Rita very generously shared one of her, it feels like a ritual to me. I don't know how often she does it, but that was a beautiful share, and Mel already gave some appreciation for it. So thank you for that, Miss Rita. And then I have a note here. It says, I bet a lot of us here could use, I bet a lot of us here could use some suggestions, myself included. So if there is something that you do already, do you go skyclad? I would do it if I wasn't afraid of bugs. I would totally go skyclad if I wasn't afraid of bugs. But, do you sing at the moon? One of my favorite things to do when I have a home where the bedroom window faces, or rather where the moon is coming through that bedroom window during a full moon, I like to sleep with the blinds open so that the moon goddess, the goddess of the moon, can come through. So goddess of the moon could be Chang'o, which is Chinese. She could be Selene. Artemis, I think, is associated with the moon, if I'm not mistaken. I think. Mel says, what's that? Oh, skyclad is when you go naked out in the forest at night. Oftentimes, it's something that people do if they're members of a coven or if they are doing some sort of ritualistic or magical practice on their own. It helps them feel more connected to nature, not just because they're in the forest, which is the connection to nature. You can do it on the beach too, like anywhere where you feel connected to nature or are in nature, but then they're also in their natural state. hence skyclad. If you have your own balcony or patio where your neighbors can't see you, do it right there. If I had that, oh, I do have that. I do. But I'm afraid of the bugs. Mel said, no, thank you. I hear you, girl. All right, let's talk about number 7 before we wrap up. The 7th thing that I am letting go. Projects that I have successfully completed. Yeah, letting go of that. But not just, oh, I've completed it and I move on to the next thing, which is my habit. But what I want to do is actively celebrate that success and possibly do a ritual around it. So, circling back to these courses, I just took my Divine Money series, which some of you have already listened to on Patreon. And I repackaged it and repurposed it in such a way that it would be appropriate for sale in my shops. I don't have it on shon.vibes yet. It is currently only available on Etsy because I wanted to set it up there for obvious reasons. I saw some people that don't like to shop at my shop. They prefer to shop at Etsy. And so I put it there first. And now that I have that, Etsy's got this way of setting up an offer that is so clear that it makes more sense for me to do it there first and then bring it over to my website because it's all like in the proper order. And technically there are some things I sell on the website that are not available on Etsy, but I digress. Now this is about sales and it's not supposed to be. We were talking about celebrating finishing. And so taking the Divine Money series and turning it into 3 different offerings for sale took a lot of time and a lot of focus and a lot of energy. And I finally finished the whole of it yesterday. So there's part 1, which is Divine Money Path. And that's the side of it that's like more woo-woo and magical. And, you know, if you're on my Patreon, that's what's known as season 1 of the Divine Money podcast. And then part 2 is packaged as Divine Money Power. And that's the one where you get some very, very practical guidance around pricing your gifts and talents if you have your own business, stopping the cycle of broke, as well as some magical woo-woo stuff that's in there as well. And then finally, I did a 3rd offering called Divine Money Playbook, and it's got all of it. So the first one is 10 tracks, the second one is 8 tracks, and the last one is all 18 in its audio. And that was such an undertaking. And I'm just so used to starting a thing and going full force and finish it and then moving on to the very next thing. But something told me this time, and I wonder if it's because I stayed connected to the goddesses throughout the entire process. Turn it over now. You know, instead of being over concerned with whether it's selling, how it is doing, blah, 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 whatever, turn it over. And that's how you finish the process. Not just the getting it done, but now energetically releasing it. That's what I'm getting at. So I didn't do a full-on celebration of that success, which would be something like treating myself to I love baked goods and ice cream, or as you can see, where is it? There it is. See my stomach? Anyway, so I love baked goods and ice cream, or I like food in general. So like one of the ways I celebrate things is to go out to eat, right? But this became more of telling myself, and starting with this instance, to have a ritual for successfully completing something. So that's what I did. I took a moment with focused intention, connected to the very specific goddess and angels that I wanted to turn this over to, and asked them directly for their help in getting this information out to the right people, the people who need it, because it is good stuff, if I say so myself. These insights about how to handle money in a way that you feel empowered in your own finances. And I feel like it's particularly necessary for those who don't see themselves as being left-brained or analytical types or feel very comfortable with money. This is one of the benefits that I can share with you as someone who is equally right and left-brained. I've mentioned this in some of my content before, but I did take a test around that when I was in high school, and I've got a 49-51 split. So it's almost 50-50 my right brain and my left brain. And that's how I'm at once creative and very organized. And also why I have a love of money as well as a love of goddesses. Like these things go together. And so this information that's part of these packages needs to get out to the people who will most benefit from it. But I don't have the ability sitting in my bedroom to make sure they see it. Or out in the street in Charlotte. I make it sound like I'm just in my bedroom all the time. I do spend a lot of time in here, y'all. I do. Really, I do. I just like to be comfortable. If you get my power coaching every single day, you saw the one recently that said, we do not wear pajamas during the day. We wear clothes that feel like pajamas during the day. That's something that I had to teach myself when I was living in Los Angeles and first started spending a lot of time at home. But yeah, I like to be comfortable, but you got to get up and put on some clothes. But anyway, so yes, number 7 for me is letting go of projects that I have successfully completed. And the way in which I am choosing to do that is through either something celebratory or something ritualistic. All right, you guys, those are my 7 things. If I have time, we'll see. I will put timestamps in this video so that you can come back and revisit it. Or if you're someone who, joined late and you didn't see the first ones in real time as I was sharing them, you'll be able to access them. But again, whether you are watching this live or you come back or you watch it later on in a replay, please share with us in the chat or in the comments what things you want to let go of during this full moon. And here's the good news, you guys. It doesn't have to be this full moon. It can be any full moon. There are more full moons coming. As I said earlier, there are 13 every year. Now, something I want to make you aware of. Oh, wait, before we do that, question. What do you absolutely hate that people say about astrology, or those who believe in astrology, those who practice astrology, those who use it in their decision making? Please, please, please share that in the comments so that those of us who also encounter these kinds of things will know that we are not alone. The way I actually wrote it here was, what's something that you absolutely hate to hear people say about moon magic or moon phases or astrology in general? Because people, they're judgy. They judgy motherfuckers out there. Like they'll sit there completely unhappy about their lives and then see someone that's all woo-woo and satisfied and then shit on us for being woo-woo. Try it. Mel, what did you say here? No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, to the sky clad. And you say, I loved that one. That is 95% of my wardrobe. Oh, the pajamas. Yes. No, loungewear. Loungewear. One of my favorite shops. I actually got my first one of their items actually from TJ Maxx, not actually from the shop, but it's Cable and Gauge. It is designer loungewear. Yep, she said designer. I talk about money because I want to spend money, y'all. I like to have nice things. And typically you can find Cable and Gauge stuff at a good price, either because they're running a sale online or they are in, like I said, a TJ Maxx, one of those resale shops. Not resale, but what's it called? There's like the overflow and things are out of season or whatever. But I absolutely love loungewear. I love to be in my pajamas. Okay, listen, I want y'all to be prepared for something. This is super important for you to keep in mind, all right? The fact that you have things that you want to let go of, be prepared for the fact that you are going to see more of it in your life. Yes, you heard that correctly. Your intention of letting something go and any actions you take towards letting something go will actually bring more of that thing into your life. And it's the exact same thing. I almost said very similar, but it's the exact same thing as when you have something that you really want that you don't yet have, and then you let go of it, you move past it. You might even say, I don't even want it anymore. And then it comes. Same thing, but just the reverse. All right. So letting go of something that you don't want anymore. You've seen this happen again with the things that you like. Say there's a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you're ready to be rid of, right? And then you say, listen, I'm done with you. I don't want shit to do with you anymore. Get out, get lost. Good riddance to bad rubbish, as my grandmother used to say. And that person all of a sudden can't get enough of you, So the reason why this happens is because the universe prefers balance. Life needs balance. And when let me talk about it in terms of when we're manifesting things first. So when you really, really want something and you've got like this grasping energy towards it, what you're doing is you've got it like on a pedestal and you're making it like it is so important. Sometimes other aspects of your life may fall by the wayside or not get the attention that they deserve because you're so focused on this and you've made it so important and you've made yourself less important. Universe can't have that. And so it keeps that thing away from you. But as you start to rebalance yourself and you get to the point where you're like, I don't even need that thing. Why was I all focused on that? Now we have equilibrium. And this homeostasis, this equality between you and that thing, make you a vibrational match for it. And that's how you get it. Okay. Now, when we're talking about something that we want to get rid of, it's similar in that, again, you're like, I don't want that thing anymore. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Right. And so the fact that you don't want it makes it come to you. But what you have to do in this case is be patient. Be patient while you wait for yourself to get used to the idea that you don't have to have that thing in your life anymore. And it will take some time because you, on some level, identify with that thing as being part of your life. That's part of your self-concept. So you have to start seeing yourself differently in relation to that thing, as well as in relation to what you want to have in its stead. So like in my case, in terms of the thing I was saying earlier about jobs that I no longer want, I would like to sell more of my digital products because I am at my heart a communicator and a producer of media, artist, all of that stuff. And so I have to remember to see myself in that light and less of myself in the light of someone who serves specific kinds of clients, right? Client-based business owner versus digital products business owner, all right? So you have to shift how you see that thing in your life, and you have to shift how you see your thing, yourself, in relation to the thing that you want in its stead. Okay, y'all, so here comes the pitch, because there's going to be one. I talked about it earlier in my courses. They are available on Etsy. If you want access to the Hecate course, again, the free version, which is this much of the course, is available here on YouTube. So check that out. And in the YouTube video that's here, I talk about how you can get access to the full course. Also, there are links in the description box of this video, as well as that video, letting you know how you can access the Hecate course. You have your choice of either joining my Patreon and getting it for free or included. I don't like to say for free because you do pay to be a member of Patreon. So joining Patreon at the Violet Flame level and getting access to it that way, as well as everything else that I create. Or you can just buy the one-off course, which is downloadable for you and you can keep it on your device. And that's available right now on Etsy as well as on shon.vibes.com. And with that, you get the video version as well as an audio version, which is smaller in size and makes it easier for you to keep on a device like a phone that you can carry around with you and listen to at any time. In case you're like going through life and you're feeling disempowered, and then you're like, man, I wish I could connect with Hecate. And you're like, oh, wait, she's in my phone. And then you listen to some lessons about Hecate and you get realigned with the power and the magic that she can help you connect to and create the life that you want. All right. And then the Divine Money Playbook, Divine Money Power, Divine Money Path, that is also available for you. And as I said earlier, that is on Etsy specifically. Y'all, it will help me trigger Etsy to send more people to that shop to buy it if you buy it there. So I'm going to keep that only on Etsy for a while and not have it on shonwilson.com, just so that I can start getting some sales there so that Etsy can then put it out to more people, right? But eventually, for those of you who would like to support me in buying things that take less fees from me, shonwilson.com is the way to do that always. But as of right now, the Divine Money series is not available on shonwilson.com, okay? It's only available on Etsy. And again, that's goodwitchworkshop.etsy.com. And that too is also free for my Violet Flame members. So is there anything else for me to share with you right now? I don't think so. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me today. It has been a pleasure and an honor, as usual, to connect with you and your energies. Thank you guys who talked or chatted here. It really does help. Etsy, the engagement part is everything. So anytime you watch one of my videos, please leave a comment. Anytime you like what I'm saying, give me the thumbs up so Etsy can know. Because as some of y'all know, some of my videos get like 19 views, and that's bullshit. This is better than 19. So, though I am thankful for those 19 people. Okay, so what do you say here? Thanks, Sean. I'll continue working on it. Yes, sweetheart, you do that. Oh, that's true. Thanks for the reminder. I don't know what you said, but you're welcome. And yes, scissors. Scissors. What are you cutting the cord of right now? Okay, girls. I'm assuming most of y'all are girls, but there might be some dudes out there too, especially if they saw my tatas. See you later. Oh gosh, I forgot how to turn this off. It's been so long. Here we go, here we go, here we go.